Welcome to my channel, and I'm back with you once again with another video of Microsoft Flight Simulator. Today something really interesting happened. I wanted to do a tutorial for the Cessna Citation Longitude, which is the default plane in the Microsoft Flight Simulator. And after doing one or two flights, I just found out that there is a navigation issue in this plane. And particularly the navigation issue occurs when you start the flight from the cold and dark state and you taxi to the runway. And once you take off from the runway and you turn on the autopilot and try to turn on the navigation option, there is an issue. Right now on your screens you can see that I am trying a flight from Heathrow to Frankfurt, and I'm going to start the flight from a gate because then the plane will be in the cold and dark state, and I will go through all the startup procedures. The cruising altitude, I've set it as 38,000 feet. And I will just start my flight right now and you will see what will happen. So here I am in the cockpit. I have just time ramped this part because obviously it was going to take a lot of time. But I just quickly went through all the startup procedures and through the taxi. And once I'm on the runway, you will see that after taking off from the runway, when I will turn on the autopilot and I will turn on the navigation option, the plane will not follow the flight path. And this issue happened not only once, twice and thrice. And let's see. I am just right now about to reach the runway, and I will get the clearance for the takeoff. Here it is. And let's take this plane up in the air and let's see what happens. Actually, nowadays I'm myself trying to learn how to fly this plane. It's a nice plane. Handling is really nice, though it's very fast. It's very difficult to control if you are flying Airbus A320 or 330 or 747 or 787. So you will get used to the handling of those planes. But this plane has a very fast movement. And it gets very difficult at times to control this plane at a high speed. So you have to control the speed. And plus, I also did one video, I think a month back, in which I was facing issues with the speed. I cannot control the speed of this plane using the autopilot, so I had to manually adjust the speed. Now you can see that after taking off from Heathrow, I had to take a right turn, if you can see it on your screens in the navigation display. And then from there on, when I turn on the autopilot, the plane totally misses the flight path which it is supposed to follow. So one thing just came to my mind, that maybe it's because of the flight model. So I went into the settings, and sorry, this is the wrong setting. Not the right one. So I went into the general options and I selected the flight model, and I switched from modern to legacy because at times the planes have issues in different flight models. So some planes fly on modern, some planes fly on legacy. You have to see. So I went through the startup procedures once again, started the flight, started the plane from the cold and dark state. Too many started, by the way. And then after the pushback, taxi to the runway, and I took off again in order to see that what happens. And you can just see it on your screens right now that pushback has just ended, and I will start the taxi towards the runway. And after getting the clearance, I will again follow the same procedures for the takeoff, and then I will again face this issue. Just to tell you one thing, that I am not new to this plane. I have been flying it before, and I have done some flights, although there is only one video on the channel, but obviously I have done a few flights with this plane. But at that point in time, I was actually making the flight plan from the main menu, and I was not starting the plane from the cold and dark state. I was directly starting the flight from the runway, so the plane was up and running and everything was good. I simply took the plane off the runway and enjoyed a nice ride on Autopilot, and then landed on ILS. So it was a good experience while flying this plane, and I really thought of sharing this experience with you guys today. And trust me, today almost 4 or 5 hours have been spent. I did 2 flights from Lahore to Islamabad, then I did 2 more flights from Heathrow to Frankfurt, and every time I faced this issue. So every time when I was starting the flight from the ramp or from the gate, the navigation issue was happening. Now you can see it on your screens that soon after the takeoff, I have taken a steep right turn in order to follow the flight path and to ensure that I'm not missing any waypoint, because it can be a possibility that if I miss a waypoint, the plane can deviate from the flight path. But right now you can see that I'm following the flight path, and the flight path is coming in magenta color. Now you can see that the moment I started the navigation option, the magenta line turned white, the flight path, and after the next waypoint, it's magenta color. But you will see the plane is not following it. Now plane is going in the straight direction. You can see that the plane was supposed to take a left turn, but it just goes straight. So this is an issue that I'm facing for a very long time, and the purpose of making this video is just to share my experience with you guys, and plus just to tell you that if you face this issue, just remember it's a genuine issue. It's not because there is something wrong at your end, because honestly I've today spent quite a long time, as I told you before, 5 to 6 hours, and every time I face this issue. Then what I did was this, that I made another flight plan, and in this flight plan I didn't start the plane from the cold and dark state. I didn't start the flight from any gate or from the ramp. I just started the flight directly from the runway, which I've been doing it before, and this video is also there on my channel. Now you will see when the plane will take off, it will follow the flight path correctly. If you have also faced this issue and you know a solution to it, please let us know in the comment section, and definitely I will make a video for that. Because as I've been telling you before in my channel, that this is a nice community on YouTube where we are learning from each other. I have learned from many other YouTubers as well, and plus the people who are actually watching my videos, they have been giving me feedbacks, and if I had an issue, they have been commenting, due to which I have been able to make better videos and to fix issues. Explain 11 was free of issues. There were no issues except for the flight planning part, where the AIRAC cycle was not updated. Apart from that, everything was good, and some third-party add-ons had an issue, but it's okay. But the default features were working perfectly all right. Unfortunately, in Microsoft Flight Simulator, till the time since it has been launched, there have been issues. And trust me, there came a time when I really thought of not doing any more videos. Then once the issues were fixed and there were updates, the issues were resolved and everything was working all right. Now you can see the plane is following the path correctly. So when I started the flight directly from the runway, the plane is following the flight path. But when I'm starting it from any gate or from any ramp, it's not following the path after I turn on the navigation option. And plus in this video, you must have also observed that there are some jerks coming in the graphics. And trust me, I'm very much annoyed with this. I have RTX 2080, which works perfectly all right. I've been doing some videos. And recently, I don't know, after some updates or whatever, I have no clue. Suddenly the performance of this flight simulator has decreased. I'm trying to figure out the issue, and I'm also trying to fix it up. Otherwise I have no option other than buying the RTX 3080 with an i9 processor. Right now it's an i7 processor. Thank you very much for staying with me, and hopefully if you'll try this flight, you will be able to enjoy this plane. Have a nice day.